Hello, my name is Stephen McQuoid. I'm the General Director of GLOW, based here in Motherwell. It's been my real privilege to have some involvement with Christian men together. And I find it a real challenge because in the 20 years I've been in Christian ministry, one of the big issues for me is how do we disciple men and encourage them to follow Jesus Christ? We live in a culture where it's not always easy for men to become serious followers of Christ. And becoming a man of God, being spiritual, being a disciple of Jesus Christ doesn't just happen. We have to be intentional about it. I have a dog called Kelvin, and he and I go for walks almost every day. And the route that we take round our housing estate in Bells Hill, it's the same route. I know every single lamppost that we pass. I'm also aware of every house and what it looks like. I've talked a lot to the neighbours. And there's one particular street corner I come to which I find really interesting. There are two gardens side by side. One of them is pristine, there's a manicured lawn, it's a beautiful house. The garden next door, it's a bit of a jungle. The grass is waist high, there are weeds everywhere. And lying in the corner there's an old bicycle which has been there for years, merely rusting away. It's quite obvious which of those gardens is looked after and which isn't. And for us as Christian men, we have the same challenge. If we really look after our Christian lives, it will show. If we don't, it will also show. When we're not walking with God, you can see it. Our attitudes towards people, the way we talk to folk, our desire for materialism, our selfishness, our minds becoming polluted. All of those things are telltale signs that we're not really being intentional about our walk with Jesus Christ. When I look at the Gospels, I find it intriguing to see how Jesus related to his disciples. He chose 12 men, and into the lives of those 12 men, Jesus poured his own life. And his discipleship with them was a very purposeful thing. He gave them a biblical worldview, so they had a foundation upon which to build their lives. He taught them to pray so that they could have that connection with God. He role modeled a holy life so they could understand what it means to be a man of God living in a fallen world. And of course he gave them that sense of mission and purpose. And I think for Christian men today, that's the kind of life that we need to learn to embrace as well. We need to learn to build up a biblical worldview, to take the Bible seriously, to make sure we devote ourselves to studying the Bible. It might be that we spend time on our own with personal study and reflection. Maybe in your church you want to get a men's group going so you can do some really serious Bible study. It might even be you want to come to somewhere like Tilsley College, where I've been teaching for many years, and spend a year doing theological study, really grasping what the Word of God has to say in our current generation. It's also important that we as Christian men learn to pray. I don't know about you, but when work gets busy, when I've got family responsibilities, finding the time to pray can be quite difficult. Maybe we need to be a little bit creative to find time to pray. One thing I do is pray when I commute. I come to work most mornings on a motorbike. And there on my bike I have no distraction from CDs or the radio. It's just myself and God in that crash helmet. And I spend that 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon when I go back home, just praying and talking to God. We also need to really think about committing ourselves to holiness. I think of Paul's words in Philippians 2 verse 15. Where he talked about us as Christians being light, stars shining in the dark sky in this crooked and depraved generation, living a holy life in a culture that's fallen, where we have very few ethical values left. There are no absolutes anymore. We need to be holy. And of course, having that sense of mission, Jesus Christ has called us to proclaim the good news of the gospel, to witness to our friends, to impact our workmates, our community, our neighbours, our family. All of those things are part of what it means to really walk with God, to be a genuine disciple of Jesus Christ. And all of us have to intentionally commit ourselves to that kind of life.